So your warm-up is about solving two-step equations. You should have learned how to do this last year. If you did not learn how to solve two-step equations last year, you need to go on Blackboard and look at the video that I posted about solving two-step equations. It will help you with the color by number if you have not finished that yet. Hopefully this is enough review for you. So when we solve two-step equations, we need to get the variable by itself. In this case, our variable is x. In order to do that, it's like we need to undo what is being done. So to undo that, we need to subtract 6 from both sides. Because 6 minus 6 is 0, so we only have negative 2x on the left-hand side. 58 minus 6 is 52. Whatever you do to the one side, you have to do it to the other side to keep your equation balanced. If you had a scale and you remove 6 marbles from one side, you have to take those 6 marbles off the other side to keep things the same. A scale. Alright, this says negative 2 times x. The inverse of multiplication is division, so we are going to divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1, so we have 1x left. 52 divided by negative 2 is 26. Negative. So this is our answer, x equals 26. If I plug 26 in for x and I solve this, my answer will be 58, because both sides of the equation should be the same number. We can check that. Negative 2 times negative 26 plus 6. Negative 2 times negative 26 is 52. 52 plus 6 is 58. And that's exactly what the other side of the equation was. You should check your work when you're solving equations. It's a lot of extra work, so maybe only do it if you feel like you could have made a mistake somewhere. But you should always do it. Number 2, 2/3 x minus 6. To get x by itself, we need to add 6 to both sides first. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So, 2/3 times x equals 10 plus 6, which is 16. When you have fractions, to get rid of a fraction, you could divide both sides by 2/3, but dividing is the same as multiplying by the inverse, and that makes it easier so you're not working with decimals that will give you estimated answers. 3/2 times 2/3 is 6 over 6, which is 1. 16 times 3/2. 16 times 3 is something. That something divided by 2 is 24. If you wanted to check your work, 2/3 times 24 is 16. 16 minus 6 is 10. So when you plug 24 in for x, you get 10 as your answer. So x equals 24 is the solution to that equation. Number 3, subtract 10 from both sides. C divided by 7 equals negative 19 minus 10 is negative 29. To get rid of this divided by 7, we multiply both sides by 7. 7 times c divided by 7. 7c over 7 is 1c. And negative 29 times 7, what's that? 203? Okay. So c equals negative 203. Negative 203 divided by 7 is negative 29. Negative 29 plus 10 is negative 19. And the last one, this one is different than all the others because you have a whole expression being divided by 4. You cannot subtract 12 like you usually do. We usually do addition and subtraction first, because this 12 is not really a 12, it's a 12/4. So instead of trying to subtract 12, we're going to get rid of the 4 by multiplying both sides by 4. The 4's cancel, and we have 12 minus x equals negative 2 times 4, which is negative 8. Again, this one is special because this is a negative x, which means this 12 is not negative, this 12 is positive. To get rid of a positive 12, we subtract 12 on both sides. You do not add 12 because you see a subtraction sign here. You subtract 12 because 12 is positive. Positive 12 minus 12 is 0. So we have 0 minus x, or negative x. Negative 8 minus 12 is negative 20. We can think of negative x as negative 1 times x. So to get rid of that negative 1, we divide both sides by negative 1. And x equals 20. If you're checking your work, 12 minus 20 is negative 8. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. Our answer is x equals 20. Because when you plug 20 in for x, and you solve that using the order of operations, your answer is negative 2. Are there any questions on any of these 4 problems? Okay, you can put your warm-up off to the side. Take out the paper that says combining like terms. Our first new word is a coefficient. A coefficient is a number that is being multiplied with a variable. That number is written directly next to the variable. So, the coefficient of 4x is 4. The coefficient of 5x is 5. The coefficient of 2y is positive 2. 3 is not a coefficient. We call it a constant because there is no variable with 3. The coefficient of 2x squared is 2. The coefficient of minus 5x is negative 5. This problem is the same as 2x squared plus negative 5x plus 8. And this is why negative 5 is the coefficient, not positive 5, because subtraction is the same as adding a negative, and we need to make sure that we know that distinction. So when we circle the coefficient, we pay attention to the sign on the left. And the coefficient of negative 2z squared is negative 2z, or sorry, negative 2. Like I said before, a constant is the number not being multiplied with a variable. So it's a number just by itself, like that negative 3, like that 8. Our constants are being added to other terms in an expression or an equation. So our constant is negative 3 because this is the same as 5x plus 2y plus a negative 3. So it's a negative 3 that is being added to those other terms. So our constants down below are negative 3, that doesn't have a variable with it. Positive 10. I looked at the sign on the left to see if it's positive or negative. Negative 5. And this last one has 16 and negative 8 as constants. And our last vocabulary word is a like term. Like terms are terms that have the same variable and exponent. You can think of it as having the same last name. So if I wanted to circle everyone in the x squared family, I'm finding all terms that have only an x squared in it. So 2x squared and positive 5x squared are like terms because they both have x squareds. If I'm going to box everyone in the x family, 3x and positive 2x are all in the x family. Put triangles around everyone in the y family. Positive 4y, positive 5y, and 7y are all those y terms. And everyone with no last name are our constants. So positive 6, positive 3, and positive 1 are all constants. You need to know what like terms are because to simplify expressions we need to combine them or add them all up. So in the expression negative 6x plus 7 plus 4x minus 3, we can circle all of our x terms, the negative 6x and positive 4, and then add them up. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2, and that was an x term. So negative 6x plus 4x is negative 2x. Positive 7 and negative 3, add them up, you get positive 4, which is why this says plus 4. The 4 is positive, so we're adding it. In this next example, circle the constants. Negative 3 and positive 9 is 6. Positive 8 and negative 5 is 3. 8 minus 5 is positive 3, which is why we're adding 3y. So, you guys try these three on the bottom. I would suggest circling or boxing your like terms or using different colors so you can separate them. right, number 1 was 15x plus 3. Number 2 simplifies to 6 minus 2a squared. And number 3 simplifies to negative 1y minus 5, which is the same as negative y minus 5. Does anyone have any questions? No questions? What's the question? So it's technically better to write negative 2a squared plus 6 because your exponents of variables usually go in descending order. But either way is fine. I'm not worried about that this year. Your algebra teacher will care. As long as this 2a squared is negative, either way is fine. No, it's just because we're just now learning this, so I'm just trying to get you to combine the like terms, and your algebra teacher will know you have combined like terms, so they're just refining those skills. Yes? Number 3? Alright, so number 3, we have 3y and positive 4y and negative 8y. So, 3y plus 4y is 7y. 7y minus 8y, or 7 minus 8, is negative 1, and they are y terms. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. So, negative 1y minus 5, or negative 1y plus negative 5, or just negative y, because the negative there implies that it's negative 1. So you had 3 terms of the y in it to combine. 3 plus 4 minus 8. 3 plus 4 is 7. Minus 8 is negative 1. 2 terms that were constants, a negative 6 and a positive 1, which was negative 5. Always look at the sign on the left of the coefficient or the constant to decide if it's going to be a positive or negative number. Spencer? Alright, turn it over on the back. If I'm going to distribute something to you all, like when I distribute homework, what does that mean? You're going to give it away or hand it out. So when you use the distributive property in math, you're giving the number outside the parentheses to every term on the inside of parentheses. When I say that I give that number away, we're going to be multiplying. So we are multiplying the number outside parentheses to every term on the inside. And expressions are simplified when there are no more parentheses and no more like terms to combine. Yes. So, number 1, we have a 3 on the outside of the parentheses. We need to take this 3 and distribute it to all the numbers on the inside. So this is 3 times the quantity 2x plus 1. So to get rid of those parentheses, we need to do 3 times 2x plus 3 times 1. 3 times 2x is going to be 3 times 2, which is 6 times x, plus 3 times 1, which is 3. So 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times positive 1 is positive 3. Number 2, we have a 4 on the outside of the parentheses. We're going to distribute it or multiply it by all the numbers on the inside. 4 times 3x minus, because this is a subtraction sign, 4 times 5. 4 times 3x is going to be 4 times 3, which is 12, times x. 4 times 5 is 20. So 12x minus 20. All right, you guys do number 1 down here, and then I'll come back to 3 and 4. So try number 1. It's just like example number 1.
So would you subtract these first?
No. So you have to distribute first. So distribute the negative 3.
Is this what I done?
All right, someone want to volunteer their answer for number 1? Go ahead, Spencer. Perfect. Questions? All right, number 3, we have a negative 2 on the outside, so I'm going to distribute that to all of the numbers on the inside. Negative 2 times 5x plus, because there's an addition there, negative 2, because that's a number on the outside, times 1. Negative 2 times 5x is negative 2 times 5, which is negative 10 times x, plus negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. But we don't like to add negatives, so instead of writing plus a negative, I'm going to write negative 10x minus 2. If you're very comfortable with combining like terms, you could have jumped straight to this step. Negative 2 times 5x is negative 10x. And negative 2 times positive 1 is negative 2. And number 4, again we have a negative on the outside. Negative 7 times 2x minus, because there's a subtraction sign there, negative 7 times 3. Negative 7 times 2x is negative 14x minus negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. And again, we don't like these double operations. Subtracting a negative is the same as addition. So I'm going to write negative 14x plus 21. And again, we could have hopped right to this step. Negative 7 times 2x is negative 14x. Negative 7 times, always look to the term on the left, negative 3 is positive 21, which is why we're adding 21. So you guys try 2 and 3. They're just like number 4 because these negatives and subtractions get tricky. So do 2 and 3 on your own. All right, check your answers. Number 2 is 8x plus 14. And number 3 is negative 6x plus 15. Are there any questions on 2 or 3? Okay. All right, the bottom ones have the distributive property and combining like terms. So we need to make sure that we distribute first and then combine like terms. So right here, distribute first to get rid of those parentheses and then combine your like terms. Because in the order of operations, multiplication comes before addition or subtraction. So this times 3 comes before the 6 minus 3. When I distribute, you always look to the left to see if you're going to distribute a positive or a negative number. This is a negative 3, so that's what we're going to distribute. So we'll ignore the 6 for now. Negative 3 times 2x plus negative 3 times 1. And don't forget we had the 6 there. So do that multiplication. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x, plus negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, and we have the 6 there. Combining our like terms, we have our constants, a 6 and a negative 3. 6 plus negative 3 is 3 minus 6x. This is the same thing as if I wrote negative 6x plus 3. Either of these answers are correct. In number 2, we have a 2 on the outside to distribute. 2 times 6x is 12x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So 12x minus 2. Then we have a negative 3 outside these parentheses to distribute. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x, or minus 3x. Negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. So no more parentheses. We've done all of our distributions. So then we're going to combine our like terms. 12x and negative 3x makes 9x. Negative 2 and negative 15 is negative 17. So 9x minus 17. That's the same thing as negative 17 plus 9x. But I would try and write the variables first. Questions? Tomorrow in class we're going to be solving equations that have these things with them. So it has the distributive property, it has combining like terms, and you're going to have to simplify before you solve it.